Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to break down a really big change in how Google Workspace handles data, the switch over to a pooled storage model. Trust me, if you've ever been frustrated by those old school individual storage limits, this explainer is definitely for you. Does this sound familiar? Your star video editor is completely stuck, can't upload that final project file, all because they hit their storage cap. Meanwhile, you've got people in another department using like 5% of their massive quota. It's inefficient, it's frustrating, and it's a huge headache for admins everywhere. So this is really the heart of the matter. We're moving away from that old way, these rigid, separate buckets of storage for every single person, which just led to so much wasted space and endless support tickets. And we're moving to the new way. One big, flexible pool for the entire organization. The idea here is way more efficiency and, for the admins, much better centralized control. All right, so what is this thing, pooled storage? Well, at its core, it's a unified system. Think of it as one giant shared storage space for your whole company. Those old fixed individual quotas, they're gone. Now everybody in every single department just draws from the same central supply. Okay, here's a really easy way to think about it. Imagine that instead of giving every person on your team their own little water canteen, where some are overflowing and others are totally empty, you now have one massive community water tank. Anyone who's thirsty can take what they need whenever they need it, as long as the tank isn't empty, of course. It's just a much, much smarter way to manage a resource you're all sharing.
Okay, that makes sense. But it leads to the big question, right? If everyone's sharing one giant tank, well, how big is it? Let's dive into how you actually figure out your organization's total storage pool. It's actually pretty simple.
The math is super straightforward. You just take the number of users you have with a license, you multiply that by the amount of storage that comes with each license, and then you just add on any extra storage you might have bought. That's it. That number is your grand total. Now, let's look at how this plays out with some real numbers. Because as you can see, different workspace plans contribute different amounts to the pool. For example, if you have 10 users on Business Starter, you get a 300 gigabyte pool. But if those same 10 users are on Business Standard, boom, you've got a massive 20 terabyte pool. So your choice of plan has a huge impact on the size of your shared space. And this is where you can really see how powerful this is, because it scales up incredibly fast. Let's say you've got 50 employees, and they're all on that Business Standard plan. Each one brings 2 terabytes to the table. Right there, your organization has a 100 terabyte pool to work with. That is a ton of flexible space. So, what's actually eating up all the space in the pool? The short answer is pretty much everything. We're talking all your Google Drive files, that's My Drive and shared drives, every single email and attachment in Gmail, all of your Google Photos content, and this is an important one, it also includes all the data being held in Google Vault for compliance. It all counts toward that one single number. Now, this is where pooled storage is a total game changer for your team's workflow. This is what that flexibility really looks like. You can have your video editor using 5 terabytes, a huge amount for raw footage, while a sales rep is only using 5 gigabytes for a few documents. And the system doesn't care. It accommodates both of them perfectly, just as long as the organization's total usage doesn't go over the limit. Everyone can just work the way they need to. Okay, so we've got this awesome, massive, flexible pool of storage. But, with great flexibility comes the need for great management. So for all you admins watching, this section is for you. Let's take a look at the tools Google gives you to actually control and keep an eye on your new shared resource. You've got a whole toolkit right in the admin console to manage this. First, on your main dashboard, you get a bird's eye view of your total usage. Then, in Settings, you can actually set optional limits for specific users if you need to. The Report section is great for spotting who your top storage consumers are. And finally, you can use policies in Google Vault to manage how long data is kept, which can really help you optimize your space. Shared drives and pooled storage, they're a perfect match. Seriously. Because the data in a shared drive is owned by the organization, not by an individual. All your important project files stay put, even if an employee leaves the company. It's a huge win for data continuity. And, of course, all that data just draws from that same central pool we've been talking about. Okay, so we've got the how it works and the how to manage it down. Now let's get strategic. This new model has some incredible benefits, for sure, but it also comes with a few new risks you need to think about. So let's talk about how you get all the good stuff while avoiding any of the problems.
First, the good stuff. And trust me, it's really good. You get that flexible usage, which means no more wasted space from inactive accounts. Management is so much simpler now that it's centralized. Scaling up is a breeze. You just add another license. Billing becomes more predictable, and like we just said, with shared drives, you get fantastic data continuity.
But of course, you've got to be smart about it. There are a few things to watch out for. The biggest risk is overuse. A few power users accidentally using up the whole pool for everyone else. This is why active admin control is so important. You also have to remember that things like Google Photos and all that archived Vault data count toward your total. And if you do go over your limit, you'll need to buy add-on storage. So what's the game plan? Here is a quick checklist to make sure you're winning at this. Number 1, monitor your usage dashboard regularly. 2, don't be afraid to set those optional limits for really heavy users. 3, educate your team on how it all works. 4, push people to use shared drives for project work. 5, use Google Vault to get rid of old data you don't need. And finally, be proactive. Buy that extra storage before you hit the ceiling. All right, let's bring this all home. When you really zoom out, what we're talking about here is more than just a technical update. It's a completely new mindset, a fundamental shift in how your whole organization thinks about and uses its digital space. This quote from the source material just nails it. We're moving away from thinking about storage as a personal allowance, and we're starting to see it as a collective resource, a shared utility for the entire organization. It's flexible, it's scalable, and control is right where it should be, in the admin's hands. So I'll leave you with this one final question to think about. You now have this powerful, flexible, shared pool of resources at your fingertips. The question isn't who is out of space anymore. The real question is our entire organization using our collective space wisely? Thanks for watching.